take off and land here.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that one. It's enormous. Do you know anything about it?
Length 233 feet, width 197 feet, weight 322 tons, 345 seats.
Fantastic, Alex. How could you possibly know all that?
Here's my secret.
Oh, now I understand. I was almost impressed. I would love to know how something so heavy can fly.
That's one I don't know the answer to.
Hey, why don't we go home and ask Jeannie to tell us?
Good idea.
Hi, how are you, kids? Whee! What would you like Jeannie of the magic computer to tell you today?
Well, I can't understand how airplanes weighing so many tons manage to fly, Jeannie.
First, let me see if you can give me the names of some of the pioneers of aviation. Go on.
I don't know any.
Wasn't there a Frenchman named Clement Adair?
That's right, but he wasn't the only one. Can you name any others?
There were the Wright brothers, I think.
Yes, they were Americans, weren't they?
Right again. And I'm going to tell you their story today. It's fascinating. You'll see. The story of the Wright brothers begins at the end of the 19th century. Ready? Whee! Meet the Wright brothers. Wilbur, the older brother, and Orville, 4 years his junior. The two brothers got along so well they decided to work together. Fascinated by mechanics, they opened up a shop where they sold and repaired bicycles, and the shop did very well. Just a minute, sir. You've got a customer, Wilbur. Well, how's everything going?
Fine. Thanks, Jeannie.
Oh, Wilbur, I haven't seen your brother today.
Orville is very seriously ill, Jeannie, and the doctor gave him strict orders to stay in bed.
Poor Orville Wright had a very serious illness called typhoid fever. How are you feeling, Orville?
Better. I'm feeling a lot better. But the doctor has forbidden me to get out of bed for 2 months. I'm going to die of boredom instead of typhoid fever if I have to stay in bed that long.
Do you realize how lucky you are to be alive, Orville Wright? It's true, a lot of typhoid fever victims never recover from it. But don't you worry, Orville will.
You're right, Jeannie. I'll follow the doctor's orders. Pass me a magazine, will you?
I'm on my way. There you go, Orville.
Thank you, Jeannie. Oh.
What's wrong?
I see here that Otto Lilienthal died.
In 1891, Lilienthal, a German inventor, managed to fly in the air using large wings like those of a bird. He made more than 2,000 attempts without ever being discouraged when he failed, and broke distance records, although they were never more than 30 to 60 feet. In 1896, he made another attempt aboard his glider. He fell and was killed.
Oh, I would have loved to have known him.
Wilbur, do you remember the gift Father gave to us?
Why, yes, of course I remember Father's gift, Orville.
They had been given a fabulous little flying machine made in France. And the fact that this toy made of wood, paper, and rubber could fly fascinated the two youngsters.
Okay, Wilbur, it's my turn to launch it now.
Uh-huh. Here.
Oh.
We can build one just like it, except it will make it much bigger.
Hooray! Finally, a flying machine I can travel in!
What? You mean fly in one of these things? Sure, why not? If it's big enough, we can try as well.
Oh, that's great! I can already see myself in the air!
It's an exact copy of Dad's gift, except twice as big.
Wow, great! Time to give it a try!
Hey, is it all set? Can we go now?
It's ready now. Here we go.
Oh, no! Why didn't it fly?
I don't know. There's no reason why it should have fallen.
Shall we give it another try?
They were only kids then. They didn't realize that the bigger the machine, the stronger it had to be.
What do you say to you and I building a new glider?
Would you like to?
I sure would.
Great! I'll get things started on my own while you're recuperating, okay?
The two brothers got together all the information they could find on aviation.
Young man, you're beginning to abuse my patience. I would like my bicycle back.
Sorry, I'll repair it now.
Jeannie, would you please hand me Lilienthal's book on birds?
Sure, but does it have anything to do with your glider?
Of course, studying the flight of birds can give me some helpful ideas.
Orville is absolutely right. Man's attempts to fly have always been based on imitating the birds. Icarus, for example. He failed because the wax that held his wings in place melted in the sun. Or this funny Persian king who was carried through the air by eagles. A pretty original idea, but not terribly practical. This is a sketch made by the renowned Leonardo da Vinci. And here's what a man named Henson imagined. This one's pretty funny, isn't it? Lots of other people invented flying machines, each one crazier and more original than the others. And Wilbur and Orville Wright were no exception either.
Let's assume that we succeed in getting our machine to fly. We still don't know if it can withstand a man's weight, and that's a very important and delicate problem to resolve, retaining the balance of a flying machine with a passenger inside it.
There's only one way to go about it, Wilbur, and that's to make test after test till we're sure.
Yes, I agree. Only by testing it over and over will we succeed. I'm sure that Lilienthal's glider crashed because of a piloting error he must have made, and it's possible that his structural calculations were inaccurate and that the material he used wasn't resistant enough.
And you? What's your plan of action?
In order to fly, I think we've got to build a solid flying machine with wings whose angle can be changed in the same way birds change direction. You see what I mean?
That seems entirely possible to me. Maybe we could construct two wings which are independent of each other.
We can't do that, Orville. It would be almost impossible to attach such wings to a glider, don't you think?
You're right.
While they're thinking it over, I want to show you something very interesting. This is just a simple piece of paper. Now I'll blow on top of it. You see, it's as if it's floating in the air. Try it yourselves, and you'll see it's not magic. I'm sure you're going to ask me why. Well, suppose I tell you the answer right now. In order for the paper to float, the air above it has to circulate faster than the air below it. The air above creates a depression, making the paper rise. To achieve the same effect with a wooden board in an air current which is the same above and below it, all you have to do is lean the board in relation to the air. The air above circulates faster, and therefore the board remains balanced in the air current. That's exactly what happens when you fly a kite. After having carefully studied birds in flight, Lilienthal noticed that the outer edge of their wings was slightly rounded. That was why he immediately rounded the edge of the wing on his glider. He also noticed that whenever a bird was put off balance by a movement of air, it adjusted to it by lowering one wing and raising the other. Well, have you solved the glider's balance problem yet, huh?
I've no idea.
You know, Jeannie, once you're in the air, it's almost impossible to modify the angle of a wing, much less two.
One day, completely by accident, Wilbur made an important discovery.
Good morning, Wilbur. You got time to change a tube for me?
Sure, Mr. Johnson, I won't be a minute. Ah! Why, that's it. Why didn't I think of it before?
Well, about my tube, huh? That young man has his hair in the clouds. Ah!
Orville! Orville!
What's going on, Wilbur?
I found a solution for the glider's wings.
I'm listening. Go on.
Look at this, Orville.
I don't get it, Wilbur. All I see is a box for a bicycle tube.
Try twisting it.
You're right. This is exactly what we need to manipulate the wings.
I told you so.
Wilbur, I always knew you were a genius.
I'm no more genius than you. What we need to do now is make conclusive tests.
This is fantastic news.
To the right! The right! Now to the left! More to the left! Well, I think you could call this a successful test. The Wright brothers began to construct a real airplane.
What material should we use?
For the wing, we'll stretch the canvas on a hard wooden frame. And for the rest, we can try to use bicycle parts we have in stock.
Why, yes, that means we have just about all we need.
And so Orville and Wilbur Wright built their plane, and with very little money, too.
Jeannie, would you mind doing me a favor, a very important favor?
Why, sure. Tell me what to do, and I'll do it.
I want you to find us a place for our trial run. If you can find a big open field with lots of wind, then we can really put our glider to the test.
Gotcha, Wilbur. I'll see what I can do. Whee!
Do you think that such a field actually exists around here?
I don't know. We'll see if Jeannie can come up with something.
Hey, I found one.
Ah!
I found a spot where the wind blows at a velocity of about 30 miles an hour. How's that?
Hooray! Where is it, Jeannie?
The name of the place is Kitty Hawk. It's absolutely perfect. You'll see. When do we leave, guys? Actually, the field was about 4 miles from Kitty Hawk. The great advantage of the site was the constant and powerful wind there.
Well, who goes first?
I know how to decide that. We'll leave it to chance. Heads or tails?
All right, tails.
Okay, then you're heads.
I guess.
Best of luck. Here we go.
It's heads. I win.
Hold on tight, Orville. Hooray! It's up in the air.
I'm coming down. Watch it.
Are you all right, Wilbur?
It's incredible.
Well, you might say that for his first flight, our hero had a couple of ups and downs, even though he didn't fly that high above the ground.
Go on, higher. Higher, Wilbur. Hey, I'm flying. Look, I'm flying.
Everything okay, Orville?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Hey, be careful. Careful coming down. Are you hurt, Orville?
No, I'm not hurt. I'm perfectly all right.
That was in the year 1900, but there was more to come. A year later, they built a new glider which flew for a distance of 350 feet. But the old problem of balancing the glider still haunted the two brothers.
can't come up with a solution. I'm fed up. If this goes on, I'm going to drop the whole project.
Would you stop complaining and get back to work, Wilbur? Lilienthal made more than 2,000 tries, and you've only made about 10, so let's get on with it. Keep working. Keep making trial runs. Back to the drawing board. Work more and complain less, you hear?
I've got it! I know what we can do! We're going to test our new glider by making test runs with a blower and a scale model.
Yes, and we can test it right here without having to go to Kitty Hawk.
Ah, that's a big step forward, Orville!
Of course, the use of a scale model reduced the risk for the Wright brothers, but I can't say that for myself.
Are you ready?
Go ahead.
Working with heroes doesn't make life easy.
One more time, Jeannie.
Before long, Wilbur succeeded in correcting his predecessor's errors, improving the safety and the manipulation of the glider.
Hey, we're finished, Jeannie.
Oh, I sure hope so. Our experiments permitted the Wright brothers to make important improvements on their third glider. Thanks to the addition of stabilizing fins, it was easier to manipulate, and new distance records were set. Next, they thought of adding a motor, so they could fly without any wind.
That's it. We need 12 horsepower. We need a 12 horsepower engine.
According to my calculations, the motor mustn't weigh more than 200 pounds.
That's fine, but who in the world is going to build us such a motor, Orville? Ah, good morning. Any mail today?
Nope.
No? Oh.
Good morning.
Hello, Taylor.
You don't look very happy. What's wrong?
Oh, we need a special kind of motor, and no one seems interested in building us one.
In that case, Wilbur, why don't you try building one yourself?
Huh?
If the automobile constructors aren't interested, let's try it ourselves. I'm a pretty good mechanic.
Ah, thank you, Taylor. I accept your offer with pleasure.
Now that's what I call a real friend.
You said it.
I can understand Wilbur and Taylor building a motor, but what is that piece of wood for?
It's for a propeller.
A propeller?
Yes, we start the motor up, the propeller starts turning faster and faster, and the plane takes off.
Ah, how would you like me to explain why a propeller makes a plane move? Look at what happens when a propeller rotates. The propeller blades create pressure on the air, which in turn creates a forward thrust. The faster the propeller rotates, the stronger the thrust. This thrust permits the plane to take off and to move forward. Orville built a very effective propeller. On December 17th, 1903, Orville boarded the Flyer 1, the first glider in the history of aviation to be equipped with a motor-driven propeller.
We did it! We did it! Our plane is flying! We did it!
It's flying! It's flying! Hooray! Orville covered a distance of 100 feet in 12 seconds.
It's not much to cheer about, 12 seconds in the air.
Pretty disappointing.
Come on, listen, you two! Don't you realize what an historic moment you've just experienced? The first truly controlled airplane flight. That same day, the Wright brothers made 4 trials, the last one covering a distance of 840 feet in 59 seconds. 400 years after Leonardo da Vinci made his drawing of an airplane, the Wright brothers finally managed to fly a plane. Many other aviators followed in their footsteps, aboard all different kinds of flying machines. Since then, airlines transport millions of passengers to the 4 corners of the Earth.
airplanes are really fascinating.
Wow, they sure are. I would love to learn how to fly one.
I wonder what they're going to look like in a few years.
I heard that planes will be able to go around the world in less than 5 hours.
Do you really think that's possible?
Yes, I saw a model of one at the Science Museum.
Oh, right! That must be the one that looks like the space shuttle. It can fly at a high altitude, and so it can go a lot faster.
Wow, can you imagine? Just think what it would be like. We'd take off in the morning and be in Australia in time for lunch. Alex, hi! I'm flying at 10,000 miles an hour.
Oh, you lucky stiff. Bring me back a kangaroo as a present, okay, Kim, huh?
What? A kangaroo? Okay. Oh, it's going to be fabulous!
Yes, I can't wait. Hey, look!
Hello!